What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new rebuild, and today it's going to be Chelsea, the team that got accused of signing way too many players without any sort of concept. Well, at the moment they're actually doing fairly decent. Enzo Maresca has come in and really turned things around, and today we want to give ourselves 5 years to see what we can win. And honestly, I'm after all the Champions Leagues today. I love a Champions League, and Chelsea, that historic Champions League win as of recent times. Let's go and make it happen again. If you do enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and once again, comment below a team you want to see next. So guys, this is going to be Chelsea inside of the game, and as you can see, they have a lot going for them. A 4.5-star reputation, a 5-star training, 5-star youth facilities, and 4-star youth recruitment. The owners absolutely love the club, which is a little bit of a debatable question, but hey-ho, we'll move on. The bank balance looks somewhat small, but obviously if you go over and have a little look at the overview, money's not a problem because we've got the pre-made success, and obviously we're going to add to that today. They already have 2 Champions Leagues. Honestly, out of 5 seasons, I want to try and win another 2, if possible. 6 Premier League titles, 1 Club World Championship, 2 European Cups, 2 Europa Leagues, 2 Super Cups, 8 FA Cups, 5 Carabao Cups, 4 Community Shields, and a couple more in the locker there. They are a team rich of history, and one that everyone knows Chelsea. And today our aim is to attempt to turn this 4.5 back to a 5. Now, finance-wise, obviously, we did not sign anyone in the first window anyway, but even if you were playing back home, you wouldn't have had a single penny to spend. Now, the debts and loans, obviously, there is a fair bit of debt at Chelsea. They've signed so many players of recent times, so for the first couple of seasons, maybe, I'm going to be good and not spend any money. But let's go over and show you the system I've made to play with these fantastic players. So, I've gone in and loaded in my 4-3-3 monster, essentially a 4-3-3 with a higher line that gets the most out of all the players, and is pretty meta-based, to be honest. Now, I will say this team is packed full of talent, mixture of experience and young players, a lot of younger players, starting with Cole Palmer, 22, one of the best Premier League players this year, without a single question. This guy is going to be what I build around. He has to be in the team. If he's not in the team, I'm doing something wrong. It's feeling a little bit chilly because Cole Palmer is going to be the talisman. A player who's pretty hot or cold in real life, but João Felix in the game is absolutely incredible. I love him for multiple reasons. One, he's very versatile. Can play on the left, can play on the right, can play through the middle, can even play up front. He's not the quickest, but he makes up for that with just a fantastic dribbling, first touch, a little bit of technique on the ball, and honestly, he also could be a big player across these 5 years. Obviously, a player who they spent a load of money on, 103 million to be exact. This player either goes up here or down here in FM. For me, I hope he stays up there because otherwise you lose a ton of money and it's not pretty at all. Now, I will say it's not just these players. If you look at some other players in this team, Caicedo is very much like Enzo as well, in a sense of can be 50-50. Reece James is incredible in this game. Centre-backs, I'm going to be honest, I never have a lot of luck out of the Chelsea centre-backs, so I'm going to give them a chance, but don't be surprised if you do see big changes coming in my end, because usually they don't work out too well. Of course, we've also got Jadon Sancho on loan, which is a interesting one. Let's just say I won't rush to go and get him. If he is decent, I will consider it, but we've got so many wingers. We've got Felix, we've got Palmer, we've got Jackson, we've got Mudryk, we've got Neto, we've got Madueke. We've got so many players, we don't really need another one into the mix. If anything, we need to offload players. Up front is the conversation point because it puts Nkunku up there by default. Of course, Jackson also is in the team, but that also later down the line might change. As we're going to go into Season 1, Nkunku does lock himself in, and you know what? He looks absolutely incredible. I've used him before. He's a great player. But over 5 years, is he going to be the striker we have? I don't think so. But going into that Season 1, we are playing in 4 competitions. The Premier League, the Conference League, the FA Cup, and that Carabao Cup. And let's go and see where they think we're going to be predicted. Bang. There we go. A 6th place finish. I think that's pretty harsh, to be honest. With this tactic, with this team, I think we can easily get in the top 4 in Season 1. But that's a prediction. Now let's go and face reality. So we do get into that final against Real Hispalis in the Conference League, and we actually get off to an awful start. They're going to go 1-0 up inside of 5 minutes, but we do get back into the game in the 48th minute, so we're looking pretty sharp. And from that point, about 10 minutes afterwards, we're going to go through and score again from a set piece to make it 2-1. But to be fair, they were actually quite tough to beat, as they do make it 2-2 in the 90th minute. But at the end of extra time, Chelsea come alive, and Reece James, thank you. The same can't be said for the Carabao Cup, as unfortunately we are going to fall to Liverpool. But do you know what? It's another final. It's not bad going. It's okay. But ideally, of course, we would have won it. Now off to Wembley for the FA Cup final against Bournemouth, and do you know what? This game was actually a great goal for the neutral, because we go 1-0 up in 23 minutes, but Bournemouth, despite trying to play through the middle, they get caught out, and Nkunku, a very cheeky goal there to make it 2 inside of 42 minutes. We are going to make it 3 inside of 44 minutes with Wesley Fofana, and unfortunately, Bournemouth don't just sort of sit back and accept it. You get one of them given to you, and that is one hell of a strike to obviously get them somewhat back into the game. But unfortunately for them, we're going to get our 4th, and at this point, all they could do was get a consolation in the 73rd minute, meaning we're going to be your FA Cup winners. But it gets better, because the media prediction of 6th, goodbye to that, because we are going to be champions in Season 1. Now, the challenge is not done by any means, because we're going to try and attempt the treble and the quadruple, but we are instantly back on top with this team. And the very fascinating thing, the only player that's got in the overall stats of the league is Ben Chilwell. So, no top goal scorers, no best average rating, no top assister. Oh, Sanchez also is in the clean sheet, so I did forget. So, I mean, it's okay, but realistically, no attackers in there, which does surprise me a little bit, but maybe that does say we've got so many attackers, people are getting loads of games, like, 5 games, 10 games here or there, so maybe no one's locking in a certain position, meaning they can't even compete for these stats. But of course, going over to the finances, hopefully we've got money. Well, we've got money. We've got £56 million to go and spend. Now, obviously, we also have got a lot of money we can bring in from offloading players. So I think the sensible thing between me and you is to go and look at the squad right now and see who we want to try and get rid of. Now, looking at the squad, the first thing we're going to do is filter by the age. So realistically, Marcus can go, Kepa can stay for now, Sterling I will happily let go. At the end of the day, he is 30, he's getting older. We don't need him on the wing. He's not exactly lighting up the league anymore either. So he can also go. Chilwell I want to keep for now. Tosin happily take offers for. Disasi I want to keep for now. Cucurella I want to keep for now. Drewsbury Hall I'll keep for now. And then we're getting into the sort of long-term contract, so we'll keep it there. But essentially, there's a lot of players, 5 to 6 players that I'll happily wave goodbye to. Now, what I am going to do is, to make this easier on myself and hopefully improve the rebuild, is when I go on holiday, I am going to use the option, as you can see here, which I will showcase, of only sell the transfer list of players. So they might go mid-season, but at least we can get rid of them and bring in some income, because looking at this team on paper, it is very, very good, but we've got a lot of players we don't need. And I mean, if you look at the players in the team, Reece James with 13 assists, Ben Chilwell with 11. The wing-backs are not the issue at the moment. 17 and 10 for Caicedo in midfield. I don't hate it. Drewsbury Hall also enjoying a decent season. Cole Palmer cooked. 28 and 14, 32 and 19 for Nkunku, and João Felix with 12 and 17. Let's not forget to mention that Sterling did have a good season out on loan, but still doesn't really have my interest, to be honest. We've got the likes of Cassiady, he goes out in 10 and 6 as well. Jadon Sancho is the man of the moment, and he didn't get too much game time, and he actually come in and didn't do anything for us in the league, so he is not going to be made permanent. He is going to go back to United. I'm sorry for any United fans watching, but realistically, going into this second season, don't be surprised if I don't sign anyone. I might bring in one player, but I still think we've got a situation of way too many players at the club, and we've not even discussed about the under 21s, because we have got some decent players in here as well who we could look to sell. So at the end of the day, that could be even more money coming in. Let's get into Season 2. So the only signings are pre-agreed signings, and so far no one has left the club either, so hopefully it happens mid-season. Obviously, Kendry Pears is a player that was brought in from them, which I don't hate. I don't hate the signing. Is he going to get in the team right away? No shot at all, but definitely one for the future. And of course, from Palmeiras, it is going to be Esteval, a player who come in for 29 million, had a season at Reading, and he didn't really do too much, and to be honest, he's not even going to touch our team, so I'm going to put him in the under 21s, and hopefully he gets some game time. But apart from that, it was a very quiet window. So the same 11 you saw 2 minutes ago is the same going in to the next season. But of course, be prepared for a big switch up at the end of the season, where some players may have left halfway through. Fingers crossed. Well, a chance to win Champions League number 1 back in this rebuild, and we'll go 1-0 up in the final and make that 2-0 up in 75 minutes. And all Bayern Munich can offer is going to be a 90th minute consolation. That's one Champions League under Josh Daly. We can also run back the league, as it is now going to be back-to-back titles twice in a row, and this is the Chelsea we all know and love. And it's actually quite good to see, because we now have players, and a lot of players, in the key stats of the league. So we've got Nkunku with 15, Cole Palmer with 13, so our players are now finally turning up. Cole Palmer in second place in the average rating, behind big boy Bukayo Saka. Nkunku also joint second with Erling Haaland, as Evan Ferguson actually claims Premier League top goal scorer. Our goalkeeper, Jorgensen, comes in third place, which is quite interesting because it shows the goalkeepers are getting a bit of a shift up. Everyone is getting a shot, which is my main aim, because I'm trying to see who deserves to get that spot at the end of the day. And I don't usually lock players in. I let people fight, because in my opinion, that you're then building a team, not just an 11. But let's go and see what else we've won. So far though, Champions League and Premier League, I think I'll take it. So in the FA Cup then, it's going to be nothing like last season. We're going to be knocked out in the 5th round, and it is going to be against Tottenham, of all teams you can lose to, and the way that we lost is on penalties. And I'll be honest with you, it's not the only thing we bottled this season. Prepare yourselves. Competitions. Runners-up in the Carabao Cup, 1-0 against Liverpool. That could have been the treble we were after. And the Community Shield we also lose on penalties against Man City, 1-1. So 2 missed opportunities here for a potential quadruple on the cards. But can I be that annoyed? Because realistically, a Champions League in Season 2, we've got 2 Premier League titles, we've already got an FA Cup, this rebuild is going well. But sometimes, when you're pushing for perfection, things get said, and realistically, winning one of these would have completed the treble. Gutted. But winning a Premier League and a Champions League in the same season does have us bonuses, and that bonus is 98.6 million. Now, I think the first thing we're going to go and do is see if any players did leave halfway through the season, because then we can understand exactly where we've got to strengthen. Well, unfortunately, these players seem very hard to get rid of, because no player has left. So we are going to go and pick the best 11 and see what it's saying. And it is the team on the screen right now. And as we can see, it is going to be the same individuals. Cole Palmer lighting up the league with 31 and 22 across all competitions. 33 and 22 for Nkunku, 12 and 7 for Sterling, who, you know, I'm not too fond of, but no one wants him, so please someone take him. We've got Fernandes coming in with 14 and 11, 12 assists for Reece James, 15 for Ben Chilwell, 17 for Jackson off the bench, who would have played a fair few games, I would have imagined, to get them stats. Yeah, he played pretty much all of the games in the Prem, done okay to be fair, which means Nkunku was probably playing in several positions, which he can do to a very high level. But looking at this team and this bench, I mean, I'm just scrolling through. We've not even discussed Brozier. He also is on the transfer list, by the way. We have got a lot of players now that I'm purely waiting to offload. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and have a bit of a stint of selling these players for the 3rd transfer window, because they were on the transfer list with the option ticked the entire season and no one made a move on them. So luckily we've still been given a big budget, so we've still got 100 million to go and play with. But realistically, we're doing very well. I've got to be careful not to shake the ship. So finally, Raheem Sterling is going to leave, and he is now going to be has played for Liverpool, City and United. Oh, I don't like that at all. But he is going to go for 13 million. Of course, not a fraction of what we paid for him, but I don't want him at the club. He's not going to get played in my future plans. And he goes for United, 17 appearances, 3 goals, 3 assists. It's not diabolical, but also he's on a hefty amount per week for us anyway. And yeah, he's on it at United, so he's not worth that at all. Now, we also did have Mudryk out on loan for a fair while at Real Madrid, and they have made an offer. I'm waiting for it to go through, but I think we have finally offloaded Mudryk. But once again, you're never going to recoup 65 million. Why would you pay that for him? I am genuinely interested. We are going to bring Ruben Neves back to the Premier League, though, and of course, on the free, he is 30 years of age, but he's got the Prem experience. He's a very good player still at this age, and he's come in and played pretty much every game and dropped above a 7 rating. So do you know what? He might be 30, but he can still do it in the Prem. And again, can cover several positions in that midfield. The goalkeeper situation might be a little bit confusing. You might be thinking, Josh, why would you bring in another goalkeeper? Well, all the goalkeepers we have are very similar ability, so not really one outshines the other. But now we've got a clear first team goalkeeper in none other than Costa. 42 million, plays a ton of games, drops above a 7 rating, happy with the performance, an incredible keeper, and only 27, which is fairly young for a goalkeeper, and it now means our 3 goalkeepers 2 of them can go. So we are going to hopefully recoup some of the money we've just spent bringing in this absolute Portuguese machine. And to add another youngster into the mix, because Chelsea love youngsters, Javi Gurrea is going to come in from Valencia for 50 million. And my guy drops a masterclass. 36 appearances, 13 goals playing in that box-to-box, 6 assists and a 7.28 average rating. This is what I like to call an instant impact. But I would like to say as well that despite spending money, we still somehow had 128, so I don't know if they pumped money back into the club, whatever's happened, but we spent big, and at the end of the day, we still brought in some pretty big players. But let's get in and see how we've done in the season. So we're going to start off with the Premier League again, as we are going to come out and win it now 3 times back-to-back. And I'm sorry, I said it in Match of the Delay, I'll say it on here. Can we have some competition, because we're winning it too easy? Honestly, 3 titles back-to-back, a 10-point advantage. Nkunku in 3rd place just behind DCL and Erling Haaland. Nkunku also in 3rd place with the assists coming in. And our new goalkeeper instantly picking up the most clean sheets. Again, you can't beat an instant impact from a player. That is my GOAT. We love to see it. Another Champions League final, another game against Bayern, and as you can see right now, Bayern are on the upper hand and go 1-0 up inside of 3 minutes. But we do get back into the game inside of 60 minutes, and apart from that goal there, we're going all the way to penalty, so let's run it. Neves steps, an absolute beautiful penalty into the top left, a great penalty there from Almada, João Felix, interesting penalty down the right-hand side. Booth matches that. James steps, he scores into the bottom left. Vanna steps up, it's a save or off the bar from Costa. Jackson steps, a great penalty there, and we are going to be your Champions League winners again. We are also going to lift the Carabao Cup this time against Arsenal 2-1 in extra time, so that is a first, we will take it. This is looking like it might be the season we're going to get a lot of trophies, as we are going to match up in the UEFA Super Cup against Liverpool, and Sterling into Palmer, into Nkunku to go 1-0 up inside of 5 minutes, and this game's done. A 2-0 win in 13 minutes, Chilwell into Palmer. It's pretty chilly, but it wasn't perfect, okay? Because we go to the FA Cup, we are going to get knocked out in the quarterfinals against Man City, as you can see here, in 4-3 fashion and in extra time. So it was one hell of a game, and you know what? At the end of the day, I've got to give City credit, because we are a team firing on all cylinders. They obviously were the better team on the day. Now, looking at other competitions, the Community Shield, we seem to be bottling for fun. We're going to lose to Tottenham 3-2 inside of 90 minutes. Again, a trophy that doesn't mean that much really, but I would like to win it at least once, I suppose. And the other trophy is going to be that Friendly Cup, which we are going to win 9-0 against Darmstadt 98. So if you're including the Friendly Cup, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trophies in one season, but I still want to push for the famous English quadruple. The Premier League, the Champions League, the Super Cup, or the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, the English FA Cup, apologies, and the Carabao Cup. That English sort of heritage, the quadruple, including the Champions League, is what we're pushing for. Now, earlier, I did say about the finances, and they wonder why we had so much money. It's because of what we've just done. We've just won so many trophies in one season. Of course, you're going to back a manager that is doing that. So we actually have 128 million to spend, but I might have a bit of a feeling we could have lost some players, because that does seem like a lot of money. Let's go and see if anyone else has decided to leave this, well, quadruple winning team. So it appears no one else has decided to leave just about yet, although Levi Colwill is going to be wanted by Manchester United, and Ben Chilwell wanted by PSG, and also Broja is wanted by several teams, and hopefully one will take him. But as you can see, Ben Chilwell is lighting up the league with 28 assists, and a lot of people, you know, dislike this guy, and you know what, I'm going to do something quite controversial in a second, because if I do get an offer at 46 million, I would still sell him, but I want to make this statement clear. He is as good of an attacking wing-back you will ever get inside of Football Manager. So no disrespect for Big Ben, because he knows what he's doing. He's a great wing back. But apart from that, we can go over and see 16 and 12 from Enzo Fernandez, 22 and 8 for Javi Gurrea, 26 and 12 from Cole Palmer, 39 and 19 from Nkunku. And João Felix, well, João Felix is not exactly lighting up the league to the extent that I did believe he could do. So it's a little bit disappointing, but overall, he still is going to be in the team. Money-wise, his value has dropped a fair bit as well, because he's not playing the best of his ability. So I probably wouldn't sell him for anywhere in the 30 mil region, because I know he's worth more than it. So let's get into Season 4, see what we can do. We've got a ton of money to spend, potentially more if players leave. Let's go and have some fun. So first up is going to be the permanent signing of Mudryk from Real Madrid, and that is going to be him going there for 20.5 million. They decided after scoring 1 goal on loan, hey, this justifies 20 million, and you know what? They've done me a favour. They're paying him 155 grand a week. Goodbye to Mudryk. We finally also offloaded a goalkeeper, and it is going to be Robert Sanchez. Now, this was not a personal grudge against him in any form, but we had 3 goalkeepers that were up for sale, and the first one to go is going to be him. And for £10 million, we're not going to recoup the money we spent, but again, it is now a 30-year-old goalkeeper who's not playing football. 10 million's a blessing, if anything. We also did manage to sell another goalkeeper, meaning we have kept one as backup for Costa, and we are going to offload Kepa, and it's nice to see him still stay in the Premier League. He goes to West Ham for £11 million. So we've generated £21 million for 2 reserve goalkeepers. It's paid for half a Costa. I don't think that's too bad. Goodbye to Kepa. Signing 1 is going to be the addition of Kirkes. Now, this is a player that is designed to come in and overtake Ben Chilwell because he's 6 years younger, he looks rapid, he can put a ball in, he's got good bravery, good anticipation, good determination, immaculate work rate, and good stamina, so he can hack going up and down the field. And you know what? For £43 million, he's actually come in and sort of put Ben Chilwell out of a position because he's played 35 games in the Prem, granted 12 assists alone in the Prem, so he may have actually out-assisted Ben Chilwell across all competitions. We'll see that very shortly, but for that price tag, I'll pay it any day. And we are also going to pick up Benjamin Sesko. Now, this is a man who I've been after for a long time. And Kunku is scoring goals, but this guy can score more goals. I know Benjamin Sesko on this game. He's an absolute machine. From my team, RB Leipzig, what did he do in the first season? That is my player. That's my player. He costs a ton of money, but he nearly scored in every game and picked up 3 assists and dropped close to a 7.5 rating. Benjamin Sesko may be the key talisman for us winning literally everything. I absolutely love him. And in the Champions League final, he performs on the bigger stage, 1-0 up. I don't know what they were doing there inside of 7 minutes. And look again here, a goal coming in literally 11 minutes after. Kirkes a ball in and Sesko makes it 2 against Juventus. And we just keep going. A third goal for us in the 42nd minute. Kirkes into Cole Palmer, 3-0 so far. And we wrap it up 4-0. João Felix, beautiful. We are also going to win the UEFA Super Cup over Aston Villa in 1-0 fashion. I will take that any day. Again, it's one of them trophies that a lot of people don't really care about, but it's nice to see. Any trophy's nice. But we have fallen off a little bit in the Premier League, and Tottenham have finally had their season with a 10-point advantage. Now, I'm not being funny, but I was not expecting this, to be honest. All the teams that could compete against us, Tottenham were not the one, and fair play to him. Sesko's come in and put up 33 goals in the league. Cole Palmer with 24. Diogo Costa, the second most amount of clean sheets. And it's not enough. Kirk is in there as well. It's not enough. Tottenham Hotspur apparently have turned into a prime team. They still have Ange. Okay, it's a very good team. It's a very good team, to be fair. But still, was not expecting it. I can't lie. It might be greedy, but I'm a little bit disappointed. I wanted 4 back-to-back. And I'm sorry, guys, but it's not the only disappointment. Because yes, we won a Champions League and a Super Cup, but we're used to winning 4 trophies. We're also going to lose in the 5th round of the FA Cup, who, by the way, Man City do go on to win, so again, hats off to them. We're going to lose by a goal in extra time to them. We then are going to go to the West Ham United in the 4th round. We should be beating these by now. A 2-0 loss as well. Not even a little 1-0 unlucky game. That's a 2-0 quite convincing win for them. And the Community Shield we are also going to bail out in. And why can't we beat them? We can't beat Tottenham and we can't win the Community Shield. We may be cursed in this competition. Meaning we're going to go into Season 4, win another Champions League, which is good, and the Super Cup, but lose everything else. And you know that I'm not going to settle for that. So we are going to have one more season and attempt to do what I like to call the Josh Daly sweep, which is every single trophy on the screen I'm going to try and lift. And hopefully, budget-wise, they've set me up pretty nicely. We're going to see 98 million, more than that, 118 million to go and spend. That's a budget I can play with, I think. So realistically, again, we can strengthen. Very rare you get the opportunity to get 100 million back to back to back to back. But teams like Chelsea, Newcastle, City, there are a few of the exceptions that can do that for you. So we are going to go and spend big. We're also going to go and see the tactics page and see how our players done overall. And I'm looking at the man up front. 52 goals, incredible stuff from him, and 6 assists, 15 and 11 for João Felix, 31 and 17 for Cole Palmer, 13 and 13 for Enzo Fernandez. What do you think, mate? You like it? He absolutely loves it. 19 assists for Kirkes, 15 for Reece James, and do you know what? Do you like Reece James? You like Reece James? He's not too keen on Reece James. Shall we say Ben Chilwell? Should he go? What do you think? Does he go? He doesn't. He's looking away. He don't like Ben Chilwell. He don't like him. So the Dogs decided Chilwell's gone, I think. Mudryk, happy he's gone? Happy he's gone? The tail's wagging. He's a fan of that one. So if you do like dogs, go drop a like as well. We'll use the dog for a like. Why not? We'll do it. And that's a little bit wholesome moment on the channel. But overall, there is still improvements to be made. Looking at João Felix, I love the guy to bits in the game, but he is on a bit of a decline. So let's get into Season 5 and see what we can do. Now, a player that I didn't even really discuss because I'm not a big fan of him, that is going to be Cucurella. Now, he's going to go to Napoli on the free, and again, it's a lot of money lost. But if you look, he did actually get a run in the team, and he didn't really do too much. So I didn't have an agenda against him. He just purely wasn't getting the job done. So goodbye to Cucurella. We also are going to recover some costs in releasing Badiashile. He's going to go to the Saudi League for £17 million. Again, Chelsea is spending so much money on these players. We're not going to recoup the costs, but he goes, plays a ton of games, and to be honest, he doesn't have a future at the club anymore, so it's better for him if he moves as well. So goodbye to Badiashile. The same can be said for Axel Disasi as well. He is going to be moving to the Saudi League for £20 million. Again, we're never going to recover £38.5 million. The guy, again, has been given a chance to play, but he simply is not getting the game time. And at the end of the day, I'd rather him go to the Saudi League in a less competitive league, but still play football, than rot away on the bench. So I'll take 20 million. And he never really got a chance in the rebuild because, I mean, when you've got Sesko and you had Nkunku scoring 30 and 52 goals in a season, I've decided to sell Washington so he can go and have a career for himself. We get £26 million, actually doubled the money, and he goes and actually does quite well. 6 goals, 2 assists inside of 14 games. It's a fair price from PSG at the end of the day, and apparently they know how to pick up players because his value has absolutely skyrocketed. But hopefully he has a great career. And we sold 2 centre-backs and brought in a better centre-back, and one that I think maybe could happen down the line. That is going to be Van Hecke. Had a masterclass against City the other day. He comes in and plays all the games, stays fit, and I will say, although he didn't get a goal from set pieces or assisted anything, as long as he is defending well, I am more than happy. He's a player that I have never signed in the rebuild before, and I wanted to treat myself, so that's why we spent big. A unique signing, but it's given me strong Raheem Sterling vibes, but in a better sense of a player. They have signed older players before, so when Luis Diaz come on the free, I thought, let's pick him up. But do you know what? He's somewhat disappointed. 8 goals and 5 assists. Now, I picked him up at age 31. He still has the pace. He still had the finishing. He's got the composure. He's got the flair. But if you're going to carry on this rebuild file, which obviously you can get over on that Patreon, I would consider selling him. Get some money back into the club. I will admit when I'm wrong, this was not a good signing. That's on me. What was a good signing is picking up Federico Valverde. Now, he is 30 years of age and we spent big, but the guy played every game and done a fair bit in those games. Now, this guy, I picked him up at age 29, but he has still got 2-3 years, maybe 4 years if you're lucky, in the tank. And you know what? There wasn't many 2 world-class midfield players on the market that were actually even in the budget of 90 million. So he was the best option out of the players. And you know what? He always does well. And hopefully this is enough to get us over the line to attempt to do that treble to quadruple 5 trophies, 6 trophies in the last season. Let's go and see what we've done. I'm feeling somewhat confident, but to be honest, Diaz, he's making me feel a little bit scared. Well, let's just start it off because we're not going to win the Premier League because Tottenham apparently are now the best team in the world. They are going to win by 3 points, and do you know what? Did we lose to them? Did we lose to Tottenham? We lost twice. They deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve it. They beat us twice. It's fair game. Is what it is. Sesko in second place with 21 goals. Costa again with the most clean sheets. Valverde, the 3rd best player. So, do you know what? I don't usually give Tottenham credit, but when they're beating us twice, who did they lose against Tottenham out of interest? Everton and Palace, they can even beat them. They clearly have our number, don't they? But hopefully we've recovered this season, maybe with a Champions League win. I hope so. I mean, the first thing I've noticed is a very boring game here against Fulham, but we are going to win it in the FA Cup final on penalties. The fact that's ended 0-0, though, I'm asking questions. The UEFA Super Cup against Everton was actually a very good game, and Everton have built a bit of a team here. Ivan Toney goes through and makes it 1-0 inside of 30 minutes. We are going to bounce back here with Colwell into Palmer, back inside into Neves to make it 1-1. And they go again. They're going to go 2-1 up with Ivan Toney. We then equalise with our own penalty, and we go on to win it 3-2 with Reece James down the right. A little cutback, maybe it is into Jackson. Elegance. But let's just look at this Everton team, okay? This team that Everton have, Toney, Bowen, Rabiot, Mainu, Kesse, Pellegrini, Akanji, Mosquera, they've had a takeover. They've had a takeover. Unfortunately, the last season in the Carabao Cup, we are not going to set light to it at all. We are going to go out in the third round very early on, 3-2 against Liverpool, which leaves the Champions League, which we are going to start off very well in. Inside of 5 minutes, Kirkes finds Valverde, and Diaz does have an impact in the UCL final. Maybe not so bad after all. A good goal there. Kirkes again into Diaz, into Valverde, who is playing incredibly well in this final, and that's why you sign players like this. It then falls to Van Hecke out on the edge into James, and it's one of the more unique goals of the rebuild. We will take it, as we are going to wrap this up 4-0, and Diaz, maybe not so bad. Ending the season with a treble, being the Champions League, the Super Cup, and the FA Cup. So I have failed to do the Josh Daly sweep, which is all the trophies on the screen. That is going to be your challenge, and if you are enjoying, be sure to leave a like, and if you do want to get all of these wonderful perks, and also that does include the rebuild file and the tactic, your challenge is to complete that sweep. All of the trophies you're in, you've got to try and win. Now, if you are going to take on the challenge, firstly, please let me know when you complete it, because I love seeing what you do with the saves, and I love loading them up and getting involved. It's really, really nice to see. But the finances, you're going to be blessed here, again, like I was, with 130 million. So you've got the financial backing, and you've been left with a very good team as well. If we look here, right now, your 11 is going to be Costa, James, Fofana, Van Hecke, Kirkes, Caicedo, Valverde, Fernandes, Palmer, Diaz, who I would consider selling, despite the goals, and Sesko, who is an absolute monster. Now, to end this, we are going to have 2 assists from Costa, by the way, 22 for Reece James, 10 for Kirkes. We're going to have Valverde with 12, Palmer with 16, Diaz with 10, 7 for Sesko. Anyone else down here? 16 for Ruben Neves. And I mean, the goals, I mean, it's basically the Sesko show. But as you can see, a load of other players also getting involved. But to check, because obviously if you are taking on this challenge, I'll show you who else is left. Let's go and have a little look. Anyone else left? No, nobody else has left. So to be honest with you, you have got what you're working with. So realistically, this is going to be quite a fun save, I think. I might even play a little bit off video, because that front three, if I replace Diaz, is pure electric. But if you have enjoyed the rebuild, obviously I think we've done fairly well. I will say, a ton more trophies in the cabinet. If you think we have done well, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, you can always leave a comment on the next rebuild that you want to see. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.